There's a country in South America where people greet each other with a kiss instead of a handshake, where swearing means hello, where a football player is worshipped like God, and where US dollars are traded secretly inside cozy cafes. A place where romance and chaos share the same table, where a smile can come with inflation, and dinner doesn't start until 10 p.m. Welcome to Argentina, a land both beautiful and fierce, and completely upside down. Where Europe lost its way into South America, where tango meets the smoke of grilled meat, and where every citizen carries two things in their heart, pride and madness. In the next 20 minutes, you'll uncover 15 shocking but true facts about this nation, from football saints and deadly mountains to an economy that could make Einstein scratch his head. This is a journey of passion paradox and unbelievable stories you have to see to believe. Are you ready? Drop the Argentina flag in the comments and join me as we dive into the land where the heart and chaos dance the same tango. 15. Europe, lost in South America. Argentina is one of the most European-looking countries in the world, even though it lies deep in South America. Here you can stroll down tree-lined boulevards, admire buildings with French or Italian facades, and sip coffee on wrought iron balconies that make you feel like you've wandered into Paris by mistake. From elegant cafes to the majestic Teatro Colón Opera House, everything breathes a touch of old European grandeur. This didn't happen by chance. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, Argentina's government launched an ambitious whitening policy encouraging massive immigration from Europe. The idea was simple: to modernize the country by importing civilization. The result: in just 100 years, over 6 million Europeans, mainly from Italy, Spain, France, and Germany, crossed the Atlantic to settle in Argentina's fertile plains and vibrant capital. Today, about 80% of Argentines have European ancestry, the highest rate in South America. But they didn't just bring their genes, they brought their habits. Aesthetics and spirit, the Italian love for football, the French flair for wine, and style, the Spanish passion for life. That's why Buenos Aires is often called the Paris of South America, a city with a European face but a Latin soul, where tango melodies blend with the aroma of Malbec wine. As locals like to joke, Argentina is a Latin country that speaks Spanish with an Italian accent. It's a land where order meets chaos, elegance meets emotion, and Europe somehow forgot to leave. Fort, the language of hands, shoulders, and swearing. If there's one thing that defines Argentines, it's the way they talk. They don't just use words, they use their whole body. Every conversation is a mini performance. Hands waving, shoulders shrugging, eyes flashing, voices rising and falling with passion. To a foreigner, it might look like a heated argument, but most of the time, it's just two friends catching up. And then comes the unique Argentine slang, filled with colorful words that outsiders might mistake for insults. Take boludo, for example, literally, idiot. Yet among friends, it's an affectionate word closer to bro or dude. ¿Qué haces, boludo? Doesn't mean, what's wrong with you? It means, hey man, how's it going? You'll hear it everywhere in cafes, offices, and even on live TV, and no one bats an eye. For Argentines, language isn't just communication, it's emotion. They speak loudly, laugh often, and wrap every sentence with warmth and sincerity. A debate can end with a hug, a toast, or both. So, if you see two people in Buenos Aires shouting at each other in the street, don't rush to break it up. Chances are, a few seconds later, they'll be laughing together over a cup of espresso. In this country, feelings are always louder than words, and sometimes a swear word just means, hey, I like you. 13. Timeless beauty. If Paris is the capital of fashion, then Buenos Aires is the capital of elegance. Argentine women don't need heavy makeup or luxury brands to draw attention. They walk with quiet confidence as if every street were their own runway. The blend of European grace and Latin warmth makes them both approachable and mesmerizing. Picture yourself sitting in a vintage cafe in Palermo. A middle-aged woman across from you sips her espresso. She wears a simple white blouse, dark red lipstick, and her silver hair tied neatly behind her head. She doesn't try to look young, she's simply beautiful in her own way. And that's what sets Argentina apart. In 2003, Miss Universe Argentina shocked the world by removing the age limit for contestants. Suddenly, a stage once reserved for 20-somethings became a platform for women in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, each one walking proudly, smiling under the spotlight as the crowd cheered. It was more than a beauty contest, it was a spiritual revolution. A declaration that beauty isn't measured by youth, but by confidence, grace, and the life you've lived. Argentines call it belleza sin fecha de vencimiento, beauty without an expiration date. Since then, the Argentine woman has become a symbol of modern feminism, strong, yet elegant, independent, yet tender. They don't seek validation from others, they celebrate themselves. And perhaps that's what makes them unforgettable. In this country, beauty isn't something to hold on to, it's something to tell your story with. 12. The Sleepless City and the Dance of the Soul. When most cities are falling asleep, Buenos Aires is just waking up, glowing under soft golden lights, pulsing with rhythm and laughter. Here the night isn't for resting, it's for living. Dinner begins when others are heading to bed around 10 or even 11 p.m. Friends gather around tables with glasses of Malbec wine, laughing and talking for hours. Then, as the clock strikes 2, the city truly awakens. Doors swing open, music spills into the streets, and people head to milongas, intimate tango halls, where night becomes poetry. Inside, everything slows down. The floor creaks under synchronized steps, breaths mix with music, and two strangers connect through a single touch. You might see an elderly couple, silver hair, wrinkled hands still holding each other tightly as they move with perfect rhythm. In Argentina, tango isn't just a dance, it's a conversation between souls. They say every step in tango is an unspoken confession, every gentle touch a memory brought back to life. And as the night fades, Buenos Aires refuses to go quiet. Cafes fill again with sleepy dancers, nursing black coffee, smiling after a night of passion, exhaustion, and joy. Because here, passion never sleeps, love never ends, and tango, the dance of the soul, keeps echoing in every heartbeat. Would you dare to experience a night like that? A night where you don't just dance, you live to the rhythm of Argentina itself. 11. The Strange Saints. In Argentina, the line between faith and folklore often blurs. Here you'll find saints unlike any others in the world, not canonized by the church, but deeply adored by the people. Each of them tells a story that feels unmistakably Argentine, passionate, tragic, and profoundly human. First comes the legendary Church of Maradona. And no, that's not a metaphor. It's a real religion founded in 1998 on football icon Diego Maradona's 38th birthday. Today, it counts more than 200,000 followers worldwide who worship him as a savior who brought glory and hope to the nation. The church even has its own 10 commandments, including do not speak ill of Maradona and spread the faith through football. Their baptism ritual, simply score a goal and you're officially enlightened. But Maradona isn't the only saint of the people. Along the endless highways of Argentina, you'll spot small red shrines fluttering with flags, They belong to Gauchito Gil, a 19th-century outlaw who stole from the rich to help the poor. Before his execution, he told his captor that his dying son would recover if he prayed in Gil's name. The prophecy came true, and a folk hero became a saint. To this day, drivers stop their cars, light candles, and ask for Gauchito's protection before continuing their journey. Then there's San Expedito, affectionately called the bureaucratic saint. He's believed to help with paperwork, job approvals, and government red tape. Every 19th of the month, churches overflow with people, students, business owners, lawyers, even politicians, all praying for one thing: that their documents move faster. Because in this country, where football is a religion and bureaucracy a daily battle, people like to joke, even God here loves soccer and hates paperwork. 10. The curse of the melting money. If there's one thing that makes Argentines laugh and cry at the same time, it's their peso. Imagine buying a cup of coffee for 100 pesos in the morning, and it costs 120 by the afternoon. A week later, maybe 200. Not because the coffee's better, but because your money is evaporating faster than ice under the sun. Over the past half-century, Argentina has suffered wave after wave of hyperinflation. At its worst, prices soared by 3,000% a year, meaning something worth $1 today could cost $30 next year. People stopped trusting their currency entirely. Those who could began hoarding US dollars at home, hidden in fridges under mattresses, or even in flower pots. Since banks restrict dollar exchanges, an underground market emerged known as cuevas, meaning caves. These secret money dens operate behind barbershops, cafes, or clothing stores where people swap pesos for dollars, quietly away from government eyes. Walk down Buenos Aires, Florida Street, and you'll constantly hear the whispering chorus, "Cambio, cambio, exchange, exchange." For tourists, it's just noise. For locals, it's survival. In Argentina, everyone becomes an accidental economist, tracking rates, predicting crashes, and deciding when to run to the dollar. And so, inside elegant cafes, you might see something bizarre. One person paying with pesos, another slipping a crumpled $100 bill, while the waiter holds it to the light to check if it's real. Argentines have learned to live with chaos, to joke about inflation, and to keep moving forward proudly, saying, "Our money may lose value, but our spirit never does." 9. The Paris of South America. If Europe has Paris, the city of light, then South America has Buenos Aires, the city of emotion. Every street and every stone here carries a touch of Europe: proud French facades, Italian theaters, Spanish cafes, shaded by green trees. Yet beneath that elegant shell beats a fiery Latin heart, passionate, romantic, and endlessly alive. At the center of it all lies Avenida 9 de Julio, the legendary boulevard so wide it has up to 12 lanes, earning it the title of the widest avenue in the world. Standing in the middle feels like being lost in a sea of motion cars rushing by on both sides, and in the center, the towering obelisk glowing white under the night sky. Not far away stands Teatro Colón, one of the top 3 opera houses in the world for its acoustics. Built over nearly 2 decades, it remains Argentina's crown jewel, a place where legends like Pavarotti, Callas, and Domingo once dreamed of performing. Locals say if you sing a single note on its stage, the sound will rise to the ceiling, bounce off the walls, and return to embrace you like a living echo. And then there's Recoleta Cemetery, perhaps the most beautiful graveyard on the continent, a maze of marble mausoleums and angel statues, so intricate it feels like an open-air museum. People often joke, in Buenos Aires, the dead live better than the living. Among its silent avenues rest some of Argentina's most iconic figures, from Eva Perón to aristocratic families who shaped the nation's history. Buenos Aires is also the birthplace of Pope Francis and the cradle of Tango, the dance that captured the world. This city is like a glass of Malbec wine, elegant, deep, and a little intoxicating, leaving you dizzy, yet never wanting it to end. 8. Science or miracle. The village that defies poison. In the highlands of Salta province, northwestern Argentina, lies a tiny village called San Antonio de los Cobres, a place where science and miracles seem to merge. The villagers here have been drinking water contaminated with arsenic for thousands of years, yet they remain perfectly healthy. Elsewhere in the world, arsenic is a deadly poison capable of causing cancer, heart failure, and organ damage. But here, the human body has done something extraordinary. It has adapted. Scientists discovered that locals carry a rare genetic mutation called AS3MT, which allows their bodies to transform arsenic into a harmless substance before it causes harm. It's one of the few documented examples of real-time human evolution. After thousands of years surviving in a harsh metal-rich environment, these people's bodies literally evolved to withstand the impossible. Today, researchers from around the world travel to San Antonio de los Cobres to study what they call a biological miracle. But to the locals, it's nothing special. They simply smile and say, "Here we don't fear poison because evolution chose the toughest among us to survive." 7. Cuisine. The empire of meat and sweetness. If Argentina had a second religion, it would undoubtedly be food, and its most sacred deity would be beef. Argentines consume more beef per person than almost any other country on earth, turning it into an art form from humble street stalls to grand family gatherings known as asado. Asado isn't just a meal, it's a sacred ritual of friendship. Families and neighbors gather around a massive grill as glowing embers crackle beneath the night sky. The air fills with the smoky aroma of slow-cooked beef seasoned with sea salt and drizzled with chimichurri, a fiery blend of garlic parsley vinegar and olive oil. Each slice of meat tells a story of pride, patience, and passion. And of course, no Argentine table is complete without Malbec wine, the true holy water of the nation. As glasses clink, the smoke of grilled meat mingles with the scent of red grapes, and the entire evening feels suspended between warmth and wonder. People here don't just eat, they eat to connect, to celebrate, to love, and to share life stories over laughter and wine. But Argentine cuisine is not all about meat. They are also masters of sweet indulgence. There's the golden flaky empanada stuffed with savory fillings like beef or cheese. The comforting milanesa alla napolitana topped with tomato sauce and melted cheese. And the beloved choripan, a chorizo sandwich dripping with chimichurri, affectionately called the king of street food. And then comes dulce de leche, a thick, creamy caramel made from milk and sugar used in cakes, pastries, or eaten straight from the spoon. It's rich, fragrant, and nostalgic, the taste of childhood in every Argentine home. Add to that a steaming pot of locro, a hearty stew of corn beans, pumpkin, and meat, traditionally shared on national holidays, and you'll understand one truth. In Argentina, food isn't just for survival, it's for living deeply. 6. Unsolved mysteries. In the swampy wetlands of the Paraná River, north of Buenos Aires, lies a place that continues to baffle scientists and locals alike: El Ojo, the Eye. From above, it appears as a perfectly round island floating inside an equally perfect circular lagoon, as if drawn with a compass by nature itself. But what truly astonishes everyone is that the island moves. It slowly spins on its axis. Over the years, researchers have noticed that El Ojo drifts and rotates ever so slightly, like a massive living disk breathing on the water. Some say it's caused by underground currents, Others blame magnetic forces, and a few whisper that it might be an ancient man-made structure abandoned centuries ago. But so far, no one has been able to explain how or why it moves. And that's not the only mystery. Across Argentina's hilly countryside, there are strange spots called gravity hills, where objects like balls or bottles appear to roll uphill instead of down. Scientists attribute it to optical illusion, the horizon and surrounding terrain tricking your brain, but locals insist there's a hidden energy beneath the land, whether you believe in physics or the paranormal. One thing's clear, in Argentina, even the laws of nature sometimes take a break. 5. Majestic nature. From white ice to fiery falls. If Buenos Aires is Argentina's heart, then nature is its soul, vast, untamed, and breathtakingly beautiful. In the north, on the border with Brazil, lies Iguazú Falls, one of the largest and most magnificent waterfall systems on Earth. Over 270 cascades stretch across 2.7 kilometers, taller than Niagara, as roaring water plunges nearly 80 meters into a mist-filled abyss. Stand on the narrow wooden bridge leading to Devil's Throat, and you'll feel the raw power of nature vibrating in your bones, a thunderous symphony of water and wind. Travel more than 2,000 kilometers south, and the scenery changes completely. Welcome to Patagonia, the land of wind, ice, and silence. Here lies Perito Moreno Glacier, a massive 30-kilometer-long wall of ice rising more than 60 meters above the lake. Unlike most glaciers on Earth, Perito Moreno is still advancing rather than melting. When giant chunks of ice crack and collapse into the turquoise water below, the echo rolls like thunder across the mountains, nature's orchestra in its purest form. Further west, in the sun-drenched valleys of Mendoza, life blooms in a different way. Known as Argentina's wine capital, this region is home to more than 200 wineries, producing nearly 70% of the nation's wine. With its dry climate, clear skies, and high altitude, it's the perfect cradle for the world-famous Malbec grape, bold, velvety, and unmistakably Argentine. And at the southern tip of the continent, where land meets the edge of existence, lies Ushuaia, known as Fin del Mundo, the end of the world. The wind carries the scent of Antarctica, snow-capped mountains reflect on the dark blue sea, and ships depart through the Beagle Channel toward the last frontier, a place where Earth fades into eternity. From the fiery waters of Iguazu to the frozen silence of Patagonia, Argentina proves that one country can hold the strength of nature and the beauty of a dream within its borders. 4. Traffic, chaos with a system. If you think traffic in Rome or Bangkok is wild, wait until you see Buenos Aires during rush hour. Here, chaos has its own rhythm, and somehow everyone understands it. The streets are filled with colectivos, brightly painted buses, each route marked by its own unique color. Buenos Aires operates more than 180 lines running day and night, with fares as cheap as 7 to 10 cents. But don't expect the driver to stop unless you raise your hand. Even catching a bus here requires a bit of confidence. Among the swarm of vehicles, you'll still spot vintage cars from the 1970s and 80s, cruising proudly alongside modern sedans, a reminder of the Argentine habit. Why replace it if it still works? Many of these old cars run perfectly fine, lovingly maintained for decades. And if you park your car on the street, don't be surprised if someone you've never met walks up and says they'll watch it for you. These are the Trapitos unofficial parking attendants who expect a few pesos as a friendly tip. It's not mandatory, but everyone knows it's best to play along. In this country, the rules of the road are simple. The bigger car wins, and the loudest horn wins bigger. It's noisy, unpredictable, and wild, yet somehow it all flows together just like the passionate, instinctive rhythm of Argentina itself. 3. A strange rhythm, coffee, late nights, and Monday blues. In Argentina, time seems to flow to its own rhythm, slower, freer, and delightfully unpredictable. People here never rush. They start the day with a tiny cup of coffee, strong enough to wake the dead chat, with coworkers laugh, and let the day unfold naturally. Lunch can last for hours, and by late afternoon, around 4 to 6 p.m., the country collectively pauses for merienda, the sacred afternoon ritual. A cup of espresso or mate, a few medialunas, croissants, or a slice of toast with dulce de leche. It's sweet, simple, and absolutely non-negotiable. Then, just as the rest of the world is heading to bed, Argentines are only thinking about dinner. 10 p.m. is normal. 11 p.m. Perfect. That's when the restaurants fill up, the streets glow again, and the sound of clinking glasses and soft music fills the air. Buenos Aires seems to come alive for a second time each day. But after weekends spent dancing and drinking until sunrise, Monday is the day of the survivors. Many cafes, museums, and even parks close entirely a national phenomenon locals jokingly call the post-weekend recovery culture. Because in the land of Tango and Malbec, even the work week has to make room for passion. 2. Survival Guide for Travelers. Argentina is a country of wonders, but it also loves testing travelers who think they've seen it all. If you're heading to Buenos Aires, pack not only your bags, but also a little street smarts and flexibility. First rule, keep your wallet in your front pocket. In colorful neighborhoods like La Boca, famous for its painted houses, or in the historic Plaza de Mayo, pickpockets can strike faster than you can blink. They're not violent, just incredibly skilled. A casual bump, a spilled drink, and your phone might already be gone. Money, too, has its quirks. You'll hear locals whisper about the dollar blue, the black market exchange rate, that's nearly double the official one. Tempting. Yes. Risky. Absolutely. Counterfeit bills circulate everywhere, and many tourists don't realize until a cashier refuses their perfect-looking note. The smart move: use Western Union or exchange at trusted shops recommended by locals. At restaurants, don't be surprised to see an extra charge on your bill labeled cubierto. It's not a tip, but a small table service fee, $3 per person, that covers bread, cutlery, and setup. And if you're a football fan, you can't miss the legendary Superclásico between Boca Juniors and River Plate, a match that feels more like a national earthquake. But be warned, never go alone. Black market tickets are a trap, and emotions in the stands run higher than on the pitch. The safest way to experience it: join an organized tour. You'll feel the chaos, the passion, the tears, and live to tell the story. Argentina may challenge you with its wild energy, but it rewards you with a pulse that's alive, real, and unforgettable. Once you learn its unspoken rules, you'll realize there's no country quite like this one. 1. Cost of living. The $600 dream. If there's one place on earth where you can live well on just $600, $700 a month, it's Argentina. Here, prices rise and fall like a tango full of rhythm and emotion. But if you're earning in dollars, you'll feel wealthier than you ever expected. A cozy apartment in central Buenos Aires, just steps from old cafes and cobblestone streets, costs around $300 to $450 per month. If you prefer a quieter neighborhood, a few metro stops away, rent can drop to just $280 Open your window and you'll see an orange sunset over the rooftops with the faint sound of tango music drifting from a nearby bar. It feels like living inside a movie. Public transport is astonishingly cheap, about $0.30 for a subway ride, and buses cost even less. Taxi drivers are chatty, and a cross-town trip rarely exceeds $4. Moving around Buenos Aires isn't just affordable, it's an experience in itself, a glimpse into everyday Argentine life. And food. For 10 to 12 a day, you can eat like a local, a cortado coffee in the morning, a crispy milanesa for lunch, and a hearty asado dinner with a glass of Malbec at night. A nice restaurant meal for two costs around 25 or 40, while a street choripan, smoky juicy, and served with a smile, is less than $2. Altogether, with $750 a month, you can live comfortably, rent a home, eat well, get around easily, and still have enough left to sip wine under the soft lights of Recoleta Square as night falls. In a country where everything dances to its own rhythm, from the economy to the human heart, you'll realize something magical. $700 in Argentina doesn't just buy wine and dinner. It buys freedom. Freedom to slow down, to laugh louder, to dance tango under the stars, and to feel, even for a fleeting moment, that life can truly be beautiful and enough. Epilogue. The White Heart and the Red Soul. Argentina isn't just a land of tango football or endless inflation. It's living proof that chaos itself can be beautiful. A country where emotions run high, where people can curse in anger one moment and embrace in laughter the next. This is a place where God wears the number 10 jersey, where ordinary souls become saints through faith, and where wine and laughter are the cure for every sorrow. Among cobblestone streets and the distant sound of the bandoneon, you realize that Argentina isn't just a destination, it's a feeling. A land where people complain yet love life deeply, where pain and passion coexist, where if you sit beneath the Buenos Aires night sky with a glass of Malbec in hand, you might just find yourself in the red of the wine and in the heartbeat of this country. Argentina, the white heart of Europe and the red soul of South America. Which fact shocked you the most? Comment the number below. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next journey will be even crazier and more unforgettable.